Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to the Most High and His only begotten Son. Call Hayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders, great millstone who root and teach well. Wa Barakathum unto the hopeful elect. All right, now today through the Spirit is going to be a quick lesson, Lord will, to get some edification on how the judgment is coming amongst you Israelites who are in the know, who have came into this knowledge, who have received this message. Okay, the judgment is starting with everybody who was in the know, who knows who they are, who understands these prophecies and everything. Everybody who knows is you're about to be judged. Okay, and the judgment is we know we're coming to the time of Jacob's trouble, but it's starting with all of the Israelites who know, who are in the know, who are not, are not ignorant. Okay, and the ones who have came into the obedience of the scriptures. All right, I'm gonna bring out a couple of scriptures and precepts to prove it. Okay, but this is I'm gonna start with Romans the 2nd chapter. All right, I'm gonna read it. It says, "But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath." So that means that evildoer, ultimately, in simpler terms, right? It says, "Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of the man that doeth evil." So that's basically judgment. And that's what's getting ready to come. Okay, Lord is about to afflict everybody. All right, everybody's about to reap what they sowed. So if all you done was be doing evil, now you got to reap what you basically you got to reap what you sown. So if all you did was walk after the flesh, fulfill the lust of the flesh, now you got to receive the judgment for in doing that. If you didn't fear the Lord, then now you got to get the wrath. All right, and it's starting with us who are in the know. Us who joined camps, who started teaching, who started serving the Lord, and even the ones that just know. That's who the judgment is starting with. Okay? But let's read it. It says, "Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, the Jew first." It says, "Of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile." Okay? And we have understanding of scriptures. In the book of Romans, a lot of, they also a majority of other books in the New Testament, the Gentiles were literally nothing but Israelite foreigners. Basically, Israelites who dwelt in different lands, foreign lands, and learned their languages and learned their customs, and they were following them. And, they weren't brought up keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Basically, they weren't brought up in, right, and basically the upright ways and the law, statutes, and commandments and everything and whatnot. They were taught the customs of the heathens. Okay, and through the Spirit, we already know we all were Gentiles, because we were following the ways of Babylon the Great, being America. You have Jakes that scattered. We weren't speaking the Hebrew. We weren't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But we had to come. But the Lord had to put the Spirit on us to come back to the obedience of the scriptures and start serving them. So ultimately, we basically were Gentiles as well. But, back then you had Jakes that was brought up in the law and stuff. Okay? But it says, "But glory and honor and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first and to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with Yahweh." All right. And let's see. Also through the Spirit, in Jacob's trouble, the Jacob's trouble is going to last a little while, and that's going to be the Lord judging his people. And then also after he's done judging his people, he's going to, judge those heathens real fast, like within an hour. So it's not going to take no time for him to destroy the heathens. But, this lesson right now is touching on the point of, how the Lord starts with those that are in the know. Because the Jews back then, when you read the scriptures, when the scriptures were speaking of the Jews, those were the Israelites. Those were mainly Southern Kingdom that were brought up in the law, statutes, and commandments, brought up in the ways of the Lord. And then you had the Israelite foreigners, which are stated as Gentiles, okay, or strangers who weren't brought up in the ways of the Lord, who, the Lord had to, he basically had them return back to the ways of the Lord. All right. But let's jump into another one. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, "And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, okay, through the midst of Jerusalem, which is a people before a place, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." So the ones that are basically fed up with being here, who are ready to get out of here. They're professing the wickedness and evils being done, and they're seeking that new the new reign or rulership under Yahweh Shah in righteousness. That's what they're seeking after. They don't want to be here in this wicked, evil, perverse society, man. Okay, and they want the Lord to get them out of there. That's the mindset of the elect. They're depressed and they're tired of being here. They're in the house of sorrow, right? And that mark means an exemption from judgment. But let's keep reading, though, because we're going to get to the point. It says, "To the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity." Okay? And through the Spirit, this is getting ready to happen. All right? Because some of these scriptures, they happened already, but guess what? They were filled in a sense already, but guess you can apply them to now. Like, they shall seek peace and there shall not be none. That's going to happen now. Because guess what? The prophets said the message, and then people were seeking peace, thinking that everything was going to go back to normal, but it wasn't. So the scripture, you can apply that to now. It says, but you see, in the scripture speaking of the Lord sending an angel to bring judgment, right? But guess who the judgment going to start with? Let's read it. It says, "Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is that mark." That mark is that Tawah, the exemption from judgment, which is the seal of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, it says, "And begin at my sanctuary." So start at his sanctuary. Start at the house of the Lord, the ones that know the Israelites. It says, "Then they begin at the ancient men which were before the house." Okay, so start with the ancients. So guess what? That judgment is starting with us. So that's why we got to make sure we examining ourselves and doing what we need to do to stay beneficial to the body. So that way the Lord will keep us in this thing, man. All right, staying humble and doing what we need to do to stay beneficial to the body. And making sure we're doing with being obedient to the Lord, man. Because guess what? The judgment is starting with us. And if you teaching false doctrine, or you're doing things that's contrary to, that's opposite to what the Lord wants, then the judgment is starting with us. So you basically putting bad to yourself. And you got to realize that this right now is not the time for you to be, fulfilling your own lust or doing what you want to do or your own pleasures. You got to be worried about what the Lord wants, because you want to get delivered. And you don't want the Lord to bring that judgment upon you, because it's starting with us, man. All right, let's keep going, though. This is 1 Peter 4:17. "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh," those that are in the know. Okay, it says, "And if it first began at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh?" Okay, so the people that are not, that haven't came into the obedience of the scriptures, they're not in the know, they're gonna be getting dropped. They're gonna be dropping like flies. But the judgment is starting with us first, though. Okay. It says, "And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?" So the righteous is gonna be barely getting saved by the skin of their teeth. Okay. But guess what? These wicked evildoers gonna be getting judged right, like popping like, just getting judged like some, they'll be dropping like flies, man. Okay, but the point right there was the 17th verse. You got to realize that it's starting with us, so we got to make sure we doing what we need to do. Praying, staying humble and staying obedient to the Lord, making sure we fulfill His will to the best of our ability. Right? Because the judgment started with us, and we don't want to be on the bad side of the Lord in this time. You don't want to fulfill this right here because the judgment is starting with us. What does this mean, though? Whenever the Lord judges us, He's going to judge us more harshly because we were in the know. And it's starting with us. So you got to remember this. This is Luke chapter 12, verse 47. It says, and that servant, because if you've been called to this ministry, okay, and you receive that you were Israelite, and you start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and you may have started teaching the word or whatever. If you came into the fold, man, guess what? You're a servant. It says, which knew his Lord's will, okay, and prepared not himself. So guess what? You knew you knew what the Lord wanted. You knew what the Lord wanted to be fulfilled, what you were supposed to be doing, but you chose not to do it. It says, neither did according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. So you're going to be beaten. So you're going to get judged harshly. All right, because you knew better. And guess what? The judgment is starting with us. So you got to understand that and move with fear. Serve the Lord with fear, understanding that the judgment is starting with us. It says, but he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. So that's like the regular everyday person that don't know, that's not in the know. It says, for unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. Okay, so whom the Lord has more the Lord has given, more shall be required out of you. Okay, so we got to make sure with us being judged first that we do what we need to do so that we don't get beaten with many stripes. Because the Lord's requiring more out of those that are in the know. That's why you start. And also, it's really crazy because also not only is he requiring more, but he's going to judge you first too. He's starting with the ones that know. So we all got to make sure we're examining ourselves and make sure we're doing what we need to do, man. Okay, because judgment is starting with us, man. But Lord will, this was edifying. I'm going to end it off by saying, call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Till next time, Shalom.